Steve and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about working with your spouse.
I love it.
I have never seen you feverishly scribble notes before an episode like you just did just now.
I have a lot to say.
So this is either going to go really well for me or not.
It's going to go just fine. We found our groove. It took a while. That's it. You got to find your groove.
Like a decade.
I can help. Yeah, that's true.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Tabitha shares, new member here. I've decided on 2 counties to mail, but wondering, has anyone used the data list they downloaded for county more than once for a mailing? For instance, what if I choose to only mail 1/4 of the list after it's been scrubbed, but save the remainder to mail a month or a couple months later? Is that feasible?
Yes.
Or does the data change rapidly enough that it's worth pulling and paying for the data again?
For rural vacant land, you're going to be fine. In fact, RealQuest itself, we're a licensed provider, shows you how the age of the data.
Exactly.
For houses, if you wait in a real high, real low days on market area, can you go turn that fan on?
Yes.
In a real low days on market area, you're going to see exactly how many properties are turning. So if you've got a universe of properties in a zip code that are like 5,000 and you've got 200 or 300 or 400 turning every month, which is substantial percentage wise, you might want to refresh the data. And here's why: data is real cheap. You know, a line of data is 10 cents through us. You're not going to find it much cheaper than that.
Right.
What's expensive is the mail. So you don't want to let this data kind of age on your desktop in Excel for too long, because now you're wasting 55 cents to send out an offer to somebody that's no longer there, versus just 10 cents to get to purchase the data and keep it fresh.
So what do you think? I think, let's just say if she did it within 90 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for houses, no, I think you need real fresh data.
Okay.
For rural vacant land, I really think you can get away with some older data.
A little longer.
Yeah.
So I think that, and that's a really good question. And some people do that. Like, you don't want to send out 8,000 at once. Maybe you can't handle that, volume wise, but maybe you can do chunks of 1,500 at a time and have the next 6 weeks, have 1,500 drop and 1,500 drop, and then play with it.
Yeah.
And you'll know next time.
Yep.
I can handle more, I should pull less, kind of thing.
Earlier
like
on in the life of this podcast, we were really advocated sending out 1,500 units a month.
Right.
Or
at a time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I really, we're experimenting personally in our own company, sending out 20,000 units all at once. And it's actually working out pretty well. But we're really well staffed.
It's so nice. The more that you send, I will say this, the more you send out, the more deals that come back, the more you get to review at that one time and pick the top 5 or 10 or whatever you could afford or handle. That's the best. So I love it. And now with Deal Funding, you can handle more, but
Jill and
more.
We're just on vacation. A couple episodes we were talking about it. And we got like a VRBO with another family. So it was a house. In the backyard was this orange tree, and it was blossoming. And so we were pulling oranges off the thing.
Yeah.
And mixing them in our drinks and stuff.
Yes.
Like throughout the whole week. At the end of the vacation, I was thinking, this is the stupid stuff I think about on vacation. So I'm standing in the back because we ran out of oranges. We harvested all the oranges that we could reach. So then I'm sitting there thinking, what if this was like a mailer? So Jill's right. If you send out 20,000 units and you've got all this literally low-hanging fruit, you're not just going to walk up to the tree and pick one that's low.
Right.
You're going to look for the one that's like the most orange and big and perfectly. And then now the selection is a little bit less. And 2 days later, the selection is a little bit less. And now you got to climb up the tree eventually. So there's some, especially if you're new, there's some real validity to sending out a big mailer in the beginning to make sure you get some great deals.
And start the ball rolling right.
Yeah.
But that was a very good analogy. I like that.
I'm trying to move on from dating analogies and relationship analogies.
I do like orange tree in our drinks, which was really funny, which was totally true.
So you take a glass
Do you know what happened? Here's what happened. The kids drank all the other juices, all the crayon, anything else that we had. It was gone. So we're all dumb kids. Yeah. So we're sitting there looking around going, think they didn't touch the alcohol. Thank goodness.
So we know.
Yeah, anyway. Exactly. So anyway, we're looking around. We're like, orange tree. And then we got into it and we're like, this is the best thing ever. It was so good.
You take a glass, jam it full of ice, store-bought ice if you can, not the refrigerator kind. Fill it up about 33% of it with vodka, and then go harvest an orange back there and juice it.
Great one. They
had a little juicer there because they could see the future, the people who own the house.
Yeah.
And then pour some fresh orange juice. It's like almost still growing.
Yeah. It was good.
Man, those are good.
That was
so
really
much fun.
Good. That was good.
Today's topic, working with your spouse. This is the meat of the show. Again, Jill, I mean, take it away because I know you have a lot to say and I'll try to survive this episode.
What? You're the one that picked this. You're silly. No, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to give you my thoughts and I'd like to hear your thoughts, please. Okay. So the first thing that I think you need to do that we have done, and we know what's interesting is we have several members in our community that are doing this exact thing. And it's funny because they identify and they'll tell us, oh, I'm the Jill in this relationship or I'm the Jack in this relationship. And it's usually data and sales is how I see them. So it's kind of funny how they are. And it's challenging when you first do this and you're spending a lot more time together than you're probably used to. Back in the day, I had a 40-hour-a-week job outside the house, and you add getting there and back, I was gone the majority of the time.
Yeah.
And then to be thrown into, I guess we're doing this together now. A, we can afford it, and B, it makes the most sense. There's a little ebb and flow that you go through as you will find your way. And the good news is too, I only know of one couple that it didn't quite work out for, and I want to say I think it was the writing was all on the wall before they got into this. So,
oh yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
But here's what's so funny about this.
They weren't working together, were they?
I think they were, and what happened was, then they were not married, but they were still having their own separate land companies.
I wonder how that happened.
Exactly. I don't know which one's more successful now, but it's pretty darn funny. So it wasn't. What I want to say about this is it wasn't the business, obviously, because the businesses survived. Their relationship didn't. So I'm sure it was before that. I just throw that funny note in there. So anyway, so for me, I think the first step is to first learn to separate your roles. And one of you is going to have to be a leader. You can't have two leaders. That's just a fact.
That's brilliant.
It's true. You really can't. But you can separate your roles and you could say, all right, you may be the leader of all of this, but under this whole big umbrella, hey, I got sales, or I get this, or I'm best with the money, or whatever it is. Figure that out. Put it on paper. We even do that. We have an org chart, and I'll be honest, Steven's at the top of the org chart. But who comes next? Then it's me. And then after that, then it's all the other little pieces on the org chart. That's just a fact. And I'm admitting this here on video and
I was wondering how
audio.
This is gonna go.
It's very hard for me to accept it sometimes, but you are at the top of the org chart. So, and I know my place. Now, that's number one. Number two, you got to separate the hierarchy. Even though he's on the top of the org chart in the business, he's not the top of the org chart in the home. And that's
for darn
hard.
sure.
No, but then it's 50-50 there. But you know what? Even in our home, what's kind of funny? I'll share this. When it really kind of comes to, except for the studio and his space, the rest of the house, I kind of get to call the shots inside. But when it comes to outside the house, he gets to call the shots. So that's how we divide it up. And then it's clear. It's really nice. So I can stand in the kitchen and go, okay, whose space are we in? And he goes, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
And I say, okay. And then I'm like in the studio, I don't say a word. That's his place. The downstairs bar area and our whole first floor is pretty much yours. I don't say a word. That's yours. But the rest of the house and the way the bedroom and stuff's arranged, I get to call those shots.
Yeah.
And it's nice. So you have to separate that. You also have to separate time and location boundaries. This is something that we learned over the years, and it's hard.
And expensive.
Expensive.
Yeah.
Oh no, I meant different. Oh, well, I hear what you're saying too, having different offices and things. Okay, that part too. But I was just saying, I'm even thinking we had to set time boundaries. Like, hey, you know what? I haven't had my coffee yet, and I'm just waking up, and I'm really not ready to talk about work.
Or it's after 6.
Or that too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. That's how we're different. For me, it's like early morning. You wake up excited, ready to go. You would love to talk about our day and our deals and our recordings before our feet even hit the floor. And I'm like, hold on. I'm kind of enjoying just waking up, and I'm enjoying the view, kind of thing. And you're like, okay, got it. So then on the flip side, you give me that.
Yep.
So on the flip side, in the evening, my mind's still going. I'm still doing deals. I'm still thinking about emails coming in. I'm still doing stuff. And you're like, you know what? I would like the workday to end. It's, 6:00. I want to just kind of, enjoy time with you, go out to dinner, have fun, not think about work. So that's how we do it. So, but that's what I mean by the time and location boundaries. Now you're talking about, you want to explain what you mean about your other location boundaries? Or your ideas?
It's, Jill and I learned the hard way and real early on that it's not best for us to work in the same office or really in the same zip code, honestly.
But we do now.
Yeah, I mean, we have a big house now. So, when money's tight and space is small, it's just common sense. I mean, go ahead through your list. Are you done through your list? Because I have a lot to say.
Even back in the day, we were on different floors. If you could just do that, be on different floors, that's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the last thing on my list is, talk your thing, because my last thing on the list is a wrap it up thing.
So the two big stressors in a marriage are, and everybody knows this, are money and children. So if you're having financial problems and you have little children, and we've all been there, Jill and I have been there, that if you add working together on top of that, the odds are you're not going to succeed.
It's hard.
So if you're the kind of person that really wants to beat the odds, and a lot of guys are, chances are your spouse is not, and something's got to crack. And that's real hard for a lot of men to hear and accept.
Thank you.
So something's got to give. So if you have a lot of little kids and you're working at home and you're working with your spouse and the money's not coming in the way it should, that's not healthy. I mean, that's why people die young. But if you can remove some of that stuff, the kids are a little bit older now. We've got stabilized income. Maybe one person has a real good job, good paying job. And so the big picture plan is the other person works at home, but they still work together and they work on some deals and they have a plan. Mm-hmm. So that can actually work out. But when you're trying to accomplish all of it at once, chances are it's going to really break. And it might break the marriage. That's really tragic. You're not supposed to work with your spouse. Let's just all be honest. You're two people. Jill and I accomplished just about the exact same thing. How she goes about it is completely different than how I go about it. But we usually end up at the finish line about the same time with the same amount of dough sticking out of our pockets.
It's true.
So, and it's real hard during that process to understand the other person's way. I'm just being really straight. Mm-hmm. So what our answer was, great, we're independently successful, we're better together, and I'll get to that in a second. Let's just stay out of each other's way. Yeah. Like literally during the day, let's get to a different zip code and stay out of the other person's way. So all of this is predicated on this concept. So a lot of years ago, I was watching Dr. Phil, and I'm not a Dr. Phil fan. I don't advocate his stuff. I think more than half of the stuff he says is silly. But this really stuck with me. Every single relationship that you go into, you have to ask yourself this question. So whether it's socially or professionally or any relationship, what am I giving up to go into this relationship? And that just stuck with me because it's predicated on this concept. You're already doing great yourself. So now you're going to bring somebody in and share it with them, and maybe share in the money or share in the success or the failure and all of it. So if you're not better together in a workplace with your spouse, you should stop it right now.
It's true.
Get get a different business partner, replace that person or whatever, but there's too much try and make it work, air quotes. way too much of that with spouses and marriages and people and partnerships, in my opinion. If it's broken, give it a shot to fix it, or get out of there. Life's too short.
I agree. What? That was good. I like it. No, I like that. I like thank you for sharing. You're really good about that, Stephen. When you say, I know it's hard to hear. It's stuff I wish my dad told me. So I'm here to tell you now. And I think that everybody appreciates that, whether we admit it or not. So you want to hear my last thing?
Yes, I do for sure.
For me, the reason why, I think there's one reason why you and I make this work and we are so successful in everything that we do. And do you know what it is? We have the same goals.
Yeah.
We realized that a long time ago and I'm talking 5-10 year out there goals. And we talk about them often and we adjust them, by the way. I'll share. We've been forever thinking we're going to be in Santa Barbara the day our last kid graduates high school, which is in about 3 years. Well, you know what? We just spent a week up there. I'm like, that might be too slow for me right now. I think in 3 years, I would be bored if we were up there too soon. And that was our plan. So we just spent some time up there. Now we're tweaking our plan, but we talked about it and we're on the same page. And it's funny because I have a really good friend who said, they're not in a good place in their relationship. And I was talking about you and I. She's like asking me about us. And I said, we have the same goals and we talk about it. She goes, God, I wish we could do that.
Really?
Yeah. And she was even saying, because we know them both separately and together, and we love them. And she said, could you get that in a conversation? I'm like, I don't know how I could slide it in there, but she's like,
honestly, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll tell you later. She actually asked me like, when I'm not around and you're talking with my husband and you guys are chatting, can you slide it in there that's how you guys roll? And I haven't had the opportunity yet where I could. And like I said, I'm not sure how to use that in a conversation, but that's it. And she goes, God, that makes so sense. She goes, we are not on the same page. She said, we don't have the same goals.
Holy heck, man.
We don't.
That's tragic.
We don't even talk about them. We don't even talk about it. They're so day to day. And they're lucky if they're on the same page the same day, each day, because it sounds like they're not. Every day it's like, oh,
That's
gosh.
a tough way to go, man.
I know, and I felt so bad for them. But for us, I think having that same end goal for you and I leads to the same goal at the end of every year, leads to the same goal at the end of every month, and then back it up to every day.
Yep.
Makes it easier.
Here's my parting thought. Every single day, multiple times a day, something happens in one of these companies that we have. I think we have 9 of them now. And Jill does some stuff. And I say to myself, consciously or subconsciously, thank God she's dealing with that. So I don't have to, because I really hate that part of it. And so that's why this works, because we're better together. I hope that's the same with you. Like, thank God he's dealing with that stuff, because I do not want to do it.
Exactly. I do. You do that. You jump in lots of times and you know what? And you're real nice about saying it. Would you like me to handle this? And I'm like, heck yes.
I've been in prior relationships where I've said some version of this sentence. Man, if she wasn't around, this would be a heck of a lot easier.
I believe that. Yeah, I'm sure.
And so guess what? She's not around.
Yeah. And your life is better. Oh, that's so good.
Hey, we know your time's valuable. Thanks for spending some of it with us today. Join us next time for the episode called Why House Academy, Why That Launch Was So Successful.
And we answer your questions posted on our online community found at landinvestors.com. It is free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. That was fun.
That was a good show. I like that.
I feel like we missed a bunch of stuff. Probably do it tomorrow while I think about it.
When you think about it, I don't know. I think we did a good job. I think we covered a lot. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, please subscribe and rate us there. We are Steve and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.